If you're spending extra money on avocado oil chips, mayonnaise, or salad dressings because you're trying to avoid seed oils, there's a really good chance that you're just buying seed oils anyways. This is food fraud hiding in plain sight on grocery store shelves. These are 54 products that promised you avocado oil, and 48 of them didn't deliver what was on the label. That finding comes from a new UC Davis study led by Professor Selina Wang, published in the journal Applied Food Research, and it means 89% of the processed foods they tested, all marketed as made with avocado oil, carried chemical profiles inconsistent with the authentic thing. By the end of this video, you'll shop differently. I'm going to walk you through what the researchers uncovered, how they ran the tests, which specific brands passed, which ones failed, and why this keeps happening year after year. Let's get into it. That headline number deserves a closer look because it genuinely lands. Researchers at UC Davis gathered 54 products that listed avocado oil as their only oil ingredient, everything from chips to mayonnaise to salad dressings, and ran each one through laboratory authenticity testing. Of those 54, a full 48 came back with chemical profiles that didn't match authentic avocado oil. That works out to 89%. For comparison, the team also tested 20 products labeled with olive oil, and only one of those 20 failed the same battery of tests. This isn't a case of every oil being fake. The way the lead researcher framed it, this is largely an avocado oil product problem. Break the avocado results down by category and the picture sharpens even further. The chips failed 93% of the time, the mayonnaise products failed at 71%, and the salad dressings failed at a rate you rarely see in any study, every single one, 100%. Published online on July 11, 2026, with the UC Davis announcement following on July 15th, the study lists Selina Wang as its lead author, a professor of cooperative extension in the UC Davis Department of Food Science and Technology, alongside co-authors Natalie Lopez-Alvarez, Huiqi Li, and Benjamin Vizgordiski. One detail matters more than it might seem. The study received no outside funding, no competitor commissioned it, no industry group paid for it. This was independent work. Here's the obvious puzzle. How do you prove that the oil hidden inside a potato chip isn't really avocado oil? The science behind the answer is genuinely clever, and the researchers built it to close every loophole. Every edible oil carries a chemical fingerprint, a specific mix of fatty acids and sterols, which are natural compounds found in the oil itself. Authentic avocado oil, pressed from the fruit of the Persea americana tree, owns a distinct fingerprint, and so do soybean, canola, corn, and sunflower oils. One of the markers that makes real avocado oil recognizable is its exceptionally high monounsaturated fat content and its high smoke point, both properties that vanish from the equation when cheaper oils get substituted in. What the UC Davis team did was extract the oil back out of these finished foods and measure those fingerprints using a technique called gas chromatography with flame ionization detection, or GCFID. They then matched their readings against internationally recognized reference ranges from the Codex Alimentarius, the food standards body run jointly by the Food and Agriculture Organization and the World Health Organization. This next part is what makes the study so hard to argue with, because the researchers bent over backwards to give every product the benefit of the doubt. For starters, they refused to buy one bag of chips and call it settled. Each product was purchased as two separate lots and tested twice, which meant a single unlucky batch couldn't unfairly condemn an entire brand. They also knew that natural factors like where the avocados grew and which variety they were can nudge that chemical fingerprint around. So they built in a 10% margin of deviation to absorb that natural variation. Selina Wang explained it directly. In our experience, we've noticed natural variables such as geographic origin and avocado variety can change these fingerprints. So we gave the samples some wiggle room, giving them a 10% margin of deviation to account for that. But 89% of the avocado products still failed. 10% of breathing room and 89% still couldn't clear the bar. The third safeguard is the one that seals it. They wondered whether the manufacturing process itself might be warping the results, whether frying the chips or emulsifying the mayo could shift the oil's chemistry. To find out, They ran their own laboratory frying and emulsification experiments, and the fatty acids and sterols barely budged during processing. Cooking wasn't the culprit. The deviations weren't coming out of the fryer. They were baked into the oil before it ever reached the factory. If the oil itself is the problem, what's really going on inside these products? Looking at the failed samples, the researchers spotted a consistent pattern of supply chain fraud. Certain compounds had dropped off, things like palmitic acid, palmitoleic acid, and beta-sitosterol, while others had climbed, like stearic acid, campisterol, and stigmasterol. The authors concluded these patterns matched what you'd expect when the oil gets substituted or diluted with cheaper vegetable oils like canola, corn, soybean, and sunflower. One sample in particular jumps out. It carried 52.5% linoleic acid, 6.5% alpha-linolenic acid, and only 24.8% oleic acid, a profile that lines up with soybean oil. Put plainly, there was no detectable avocado oil in it at all. You'd be paying for a product built around the avocado oil label and walking away with something that fingerprints like soybean. The industry has a name for this: economically motivated adulteration, or EMA. Wang defined it cleanly. EMA also occurs when someone adds a substance to a food to make it appear better or of greater value. For example, when manufacturers add a cheaper vegetable oil to an expensive olive oil but sell the product as 100% olive oil, they are cheating their customers. The money behind that temptation is enormous, which leads straight into why anyone would try it in the first place. Here's why this keeps happening. Producing avocado oil costs real money. Avocados are pricey, and they surrender relatively little oil, which is a legitimate reason the genuine product carries a higher price tag and also a powerful lure for someone in the supply chain to cut it with something cheaper. Shoppers are handing over a steep premium for that avocado oil label. Forbes reported that consumers pay more than 500% more for products marketed as made with avocado oil compared with the conventional versions. Mayonnaise made the point vividly, with conventional mayo running around 10 cents an ounce, while avocado oil brands sold for 65 to 67 cents an ounce. Now here's the fact that should stop you cold. In this study, price did not track with authenticity, and paying more bought you no guarantee of the real thing. Remember that sample that fingerprinted like soybean oil? A high price protected no one. There's a demand explosion feeding all of this too. According to an analyst at the market research firm Mintel, and I'll quote the figure directly, there was a staggering 825% surge in made with avocado oil packaging claims between 2019 and 2023. When demand for a label rockets up that fast, the pressure to fill it, honestly or otherwise, rockets up right alongside it. The deepest reason, though, is structural. In the United States, there is no standard of identity for avocado oil. Across roughly the last 80 years, the FDA has issued standards of identity for hundreds of foods, whiskey, chocolate, even mayonnaise. Yet avocado oil has none. The USDA does maintain a voluntary grade standard for avocado oil, but voluntary is the operative word, and it carries no enforcement teeth, which means phrases like pure and 100% avocado oil work as marketing claims rather than legally defined enforceable terms, and without a mandatory federal standard, the FDA has few tools to police them. Wang pinpointed exactly where the accountability dissolves. If consumers are buying potato chips that say they're made with 100% avocado oil, that should be the product that they're getting. I don't think there is enough accountability throughout the supply chain. Suppliers of adulterated oil may be hiding behind a couple of layers of supply chain, making it difficult to identify where the problem originated. The brands that passed and failed. This is what you came for. UC Davis didn't stop at a percentage. They published a media kit naming the specific brands, products, and results. Before I read these off, one piece of context matters. These results reflect only the specific lots UC Davis tested, purchased in California and online across 2025 and 2026. A fail here means the oil came back compositionally inconsistent with authentic avocado oil, and it is not a legal ruling of fraud against any brand. Formulations and suppliers shift over time, so hold on to that framing. Start with the good news, the products that passed both tested lots. Only 2 avocado products cleared both lots cleanly. Grove Avo, yeah. Mayo sauce and Grove Avo, yeah. Garlic aioli sauce. Both are made with avocado oil, and both match the real thing across both lots. 2 more products split the difference, passing one lot while the other failed. Lesser Evil Munions and Simply Tostitos sea salt and avocado oil tortilla chips. Now the products that failed. The chips list runs long. Boulder Canyon avocado oil, kettle chips, C8's kettle cooked potato chips, and corn tortilla chips, kettle brand, Jackson's avocado oil sweet potato and kettle cooked chips, Sprout store brand tortilla and kettle chips, Sensible Portions, Garden Veggie Straws, Better Goods Hatch, Chile tortilla chips, and Good Health kettle style chips. Among the dressings, the failures included Sprouts balsamic vinaigrette, Primal Kitchen's avocado oil and vinegar vinaigrette and Italian dressing, Chosen Foods lemon garlic and zesty Italian dressings, and Brianna's classic balsamic vinaigrette. Every dressing failed, all of them. The mayonnaise failures covered Chosen Foods classic mayo and vegan mayo, Primal Kitchen real mayonnaise, Sir Kensington's avocado oil mayonnaise, and Better Body Foods 100% avocado oil mayo. Let me pause on Chosen Foods because there's a nuance worth honoring rather than skipping. Back in a 2020 UC Davis study, which I'll come to shortly, Chosen Foods bottled oil ranked as one of only 2 brands that tested 100% pure. In 2026, it's their mayo and dressing products landing in the failed column. That's not necessarily a contradiction, because a brand's bottled oil and its processed food line can flow from entirely different supply chains. A company can nail one product and source another from somewhere else completely. Here's what makes the new findings sting even more. UC Davis has been raising this alarm for years, and this is actually the 3rd study in the sequence. On June 15th, 2020, the university released its first market study, and the results were brutal. At least 82% of bottled avocado oil samples were either stale before their expiration date or blended with other oils. In 3 cases, bottles labeled pure or extra virgin held near 100% soybean oil. That study covered 22 brands, and only 2 returned pure and non-oxidized, Chosen Foods and Marianne's. Reflecting on that first round, Wang admitted, "I was surprised some of the samples didn't contain any avocado oil." A second study followed in 2023, this time examining 36 private label or store brand oils drawn from 19 retailers across the US and Canada. Only 31% proved pure, and just 36% matched the quality advertised, which meant roughly 70% were rancid, adulterated, or both. The story reached a wider audience in August 2024 when the Washington Post took that 2023 data, and at the Post request, UC Davis disclosed the retailer names. The reporting found that at least 21 of the 36 store brand bottles, nearly 2/3, were adulterated, rancid, or inconsistent with the label. Named retailers included Walmart, Sam's Club, Kroger, Safeway, Trader Joe's, Aldi, Target, and Sprouts, among others. Trace the trajectory and the pattern becomes impossible to miss. In 2020, the fraud lived in the bottle, and by 2026, it had migrated into the chips, the mayo, and the dressings. As shoppers wised up and started scrutinizing their oil bottles, the problem simply relocated into processed foods, where that oil is far harder to inspect. That's the real arc of this research. The fraud never disappeared. It just moved somewhere. You'd be less likely to catch it. Let's pull back because a bigger question sits underneath all of this, and the researchers and outside experts raised it themselves. Plenty of people buy avocado oil products precisely because they believe it's the healthier option. Yet some nutrition scientists quoted in the coverage pushed back on how far that belief should stretch. Sarah Berry, a professor of nutrition at King's College London, called avocado oil a healthy choice, then added, "Where I struggle is the health halo that it's been given." She pointed out that we have decades of data showing that extra virgin olive oil is healthy. We have decades of data showing that most seed oils are healthy. The evidence base for avocado oil specifically simply doesn't run as deep as the marketing implies. Teresa Fung, an adjunct professor of nutrition at Harvard, put it even more bluntly. "I would rather eat the avocado instead." This one is worth sitting with. If you're paying that 500% plus premium for the health halo, and the product might not even contain the oil on the label, and the direct health evidence for that specific oil is thinner than you assumed, then you have to ask what exactly your money is buying. Is anyone actually doing something about this? There's movement, and it's worth understanding clearly. On the international front, real progress has landed. The Codex Alimentarius Commission adopted the inclusion of avocado oil in its standard for named vegetable oils on November 25, 2024, a significant regulatory milestone setting science-based criteria for refined avocado oil, covering fatty acid, sterile, and other benchmarks. Standards for virgin and extra virgin avocado oil remain under discussion. One limitation matters, though. Codex is voluntary and advisory, and it is not self-enforcing inside the United States. Industry organizing has picked up as well. An avocado oil expert group formed with the American Oil Chemists Society to tackle standards and research. And in 2025, an Avocado Oil Manufacturers Association was founded specifically to address authenticity. Speaking to NPR, that association drew a direct line to olive oil's history. We are learning from olive oil, which faced similar problems until the creation of an international council and shared standards helped restore consumer confidence. Avocado oil must follow the same path, and that journey is now underway. Here's the bottom line for the United States specifically. As of this study's publication, the FDA still holds no mandatory standard of identity for avocado oil, and no FDA or USDA enforcement action has been announced in connection with this study. Some coverage suggested the findings could intensify pressure on the FDA, but that's forward-looking speculation, not a reported action. A hopeful precedent does exist. Roughly 15 years ago, Selina Wang's own research showed that most imported extra virgin olive oils failed their quality and purity claims. That work helped drive stricter olive oil standards in California, supported in part by the California Olive Oil Council, and pushed the industry to clean up its act. And that's the trajectory she's hoping avocado oil will follow now. Let's circle back to where we started. 54 products promised you avocado oil, and 48 of them, that 89%, didn't deliver a chemical profile consistent with real avocado oil. The chips failed 93% of the time, the dressings failed every single time, and all of it held up even after the researchers granted each product a 10% margin of grace and proved the manufacturing process wasn't to blame. The uncomfortable truth is that a label reading "made with avocado oil" is, in the United States, a marketing claim rather than a legally guaranteed fact. No federal standard of identity stands behind it. The premium you pay guarantees nothing about authenticity, and the fraud has been quietly drifting from oil bottles into the processed foods on your shelf for years. As Selina Wang told NPR, if you're buying avocado oil products, it's very likely that you're not getting what you're paying for. None of this brand's avocado oil is bad, or every company is a cheat, because a couple of products passed cleanly and the olive oil comparison group performed far better. What it does mean is that you deserve to know what's actually in your food, and right now the label alone can't promise you that. The encouraging part is that independent researchers, international standards bodies, and even segments of the industry are finally starting to move. Until they catch up, the most valuable thing you can carry into the grocery store is exactly what you just learned about avocado oil. If this changed how you'll look at that next bag of avocado oil chips, share it to someone who needs to see it, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe for more. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.